Hello, my name is Stacey Fulton, and I teach biology at the Bryant High School here in Central Arkansas. Strive has really challenged me to rethink my instruction by prioritizing adding real world connections to my curriculum, which has led to stronger student engagement and deeper understanding of the core content. This past summer, I had the opportunity of working with WER architects. My main role was to work with the interior design team to research how the materials they use impact human health and water quality. And I was also able to conduct some stain resistant tests on the materials that they use most frequently. On top of working with the interior design team, I also was able to work with the architects. I was able to join in on meetings with everyone who came into the office, which was a lot of fun: engineers, clients, contractors, sales reps. So it was really cool to see that side of the building process as well. And then I was able to go on site visits to various stages of projects being built. My lesson had quite a few components to it, but my main component was the students were going to design a carbon neutral home within a budget as a group. So it was groups of three. Each person was assigned a role as either architect, interior designer, or landscape architect. They were essentially given a menu of items to choose from, but they had to decide on what they wanted to use and how much they wanted to use. So, for instance, architect had to pick out the building materials, the types of doors and windows, plus the number of doors and windows. The interior designer had to pick out the lighting, the countertops, the paint. And then the landscape architect had to pick out all the components on the outside, such as the type of grass, the sidewalk, any outdoor features like a pool, and even down to the number of trees that they wanted to have. Once they picked out what they wanted, they then had to come back together because I gave them a budget. And then their goal was also to remain either carbon neutral or carbon negative. And so if they were not within budget, or if they were not carbon neutral or negative, they had to work as a group, as you can see here, to decide on what they wanted to cut and what they wanted to keep. This was a lot of fun to watch. There was a lot of discussion going on. A lot of the kids really wanted the pool, which was funny. They realized really quickly that pools are very expensive. So they had to decide, okay, do I want this expensive pool, or do I want to cut other things so that I can have the pool? So it was a lot of fun to see that discussion among them. That was the group component. Then they had the individual component. So the interior designer, and it's basically the visual. The interior designer had to create a digital mood board. This is something I learned about at WER, where interior designers create a mood board to showcase the aesthetics of the project to the client. And the architect had to create the floor plan, and then the landscape architect actually had to create the site plan, which is also something I learned about at WER. It's where they work around the shape of the home or the building, and they decide where everything goes, from the sidewalk, the grass, even down to where each tree goes. So as you can see, my kids really got into it and they had a lot of fun, and I was really happy with the results. I also gave a pre and post test just to see how they did with the content and learning about the carbon cycle. I am a state tested subject, and we have to take a state test called Atlas at the end of the year. And it is a pretty hard, rigorous test with a lot of critically thinking questions, math, and reading. So I wanted to make sure that my assessment had those style of questions in it. So that being said, this assessment did have that. So I was really happy with my test scores. The fact that the majority of my classes got up to a B average was just amazing. It proved to me how important it was, these real world connections, to keep them engaged through the lesson. And then I also gave a STEM interest survey. I gave it at the beginning of the year and then at the end of the semester, and there was a little bit of growth. I am hoping throughout the year it grows even more when I add even more connections to my curriculum. On top of, after Atlas, I plan on doing a STEM, like a STEM career project where kids research a specific STEM career. So just to kind of wrap everything up, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that helped me along the way. Lauren from WER, thank you so much. Thank you for answering all my questions. Thank you to every employee of WER. They were so nice. They answered all my questions. They let me join in on meetings. They let me go on field trips. It was so much fun this summer. And then thank you to Mr. Wallace from Mercer Mass Timber in Conway, Arkansas, for donating CLT samples for my classroom. So CLT is cross laminated timber. It's a new construction material that I learned about at WER. And Mr. Wallace actually gave me some so that my kids could do a lab comparing it to different types of wood. So that was a really awesome, awesome thing for him to do. So thank you so much. And thank you to Lindsay for all of her help, my mentor, and everyone else along the way. Thank you so much, everyone.